Right. Welcome, Morena, everybody. I am Trina Cooper. I'm the General Manager for PARTA. Thank you for making the time this morning to be part of our 11th pop-up chat today. And the topic that we're covering is how doulas contribute positively to mothers' and families' mental health. The session is being recorded and will be made available on YouTube. Please note that your video image may be seen when we share the presentation on our website and social media, so please ensure that you have your camera turned off if you want to remain incognito. And we ask that you remain muted, and if you do want to ask a question, then use the chat function at the bottom of your screen. And we will go through these questions at the end of the presentation. Next week's pop-up chat is on Wednesday the 8th of July at 10 o'clock, and this is featuring Sandra from the New Zealand Down Syndrome Association. And she'll be talking about how healthcare providers can support families with a diagnosis of Down syndrome, suitable language to use and services to refer to. I'm going to hand over to Carol Burroughs, who is a doula from Freedom Births. So Carol, over to you.
Hello everyone, kia ora. It's really lovely to be part of this PARTA video series. And thank you very much, Trina, for the invite to share about doulas in New Zealand. My name is Carol Burroughs and I'm a birth and a postpartum doula. I've had 8 children, 1 husband, and you might say I've found my passion in life. Well, I have a new passion, and it's not to inspire everyone else to have 8 as well, unless they really want to, but to support women and their partners through labour, birth, and their postpartum journey, to be inspired about their upcoming labour and dispelling the fear out there around birth. I certainly didn't have pain-free births, but was supported with great midwives and especially my husband. We have 4 girls and 4 boys, and I also miscarried a perfect little boy around 20 weeks. My hospital births were fairly natural, with only some gas for the first 2, and I've had 1 home birth, 1 induction, and the very last was a water birth. 3 of my babies were born in Whangarei, and the rest were in Kaitoia. And yes, this photo was taken a few years ago. My eldest is now 30, with an 8-month-old son, and my youngest is 14. So I'm actually starting to feel a little old now, but hopefully there's some wisdom in there as well. I use my own experience of having birthed 8 children, plus more importantly, my doula training to provide personal support to women and their partners during pregnancy, labour and birth. I totally recognise and acknowledge that my experience may not be that of others though. I established Freedom Births in 2015, and I'm the creator of Birthing with Passion workshops designed to inform, inspire, and impart practical ways to manage labour and birth. And the participants leave the class equipped with a vast array of resources ready for their upcoming birth, whether at home or in hospital. Working as a doula, my work has covered VBACs, home births, a water birth, and planned caesarean. I am very happy supporting women both in hospital and home. And as a doula, I don't just come in and ignore the partner. My own labouring times were very important emotional bonding times with my husband, and I greatly value the couple as a whole. It is their baby and their birth, and I'm there to support both. And I see it as an honour and a privilege to be present. And as I often say to women, I'm not just coming to watch you brush your teeth. But first, a little history around doulas. The word doula is an ancient Greek word and translates to handmaiden or servant, one who comes alongside. Throughout history, women have been supported by other women during childbearing. Yet as families begin living further apart and as birth becomes increasingly medicalised, fewer women receive this kind of support, especially with the loss of extended family and a village for support. Fathers and partners do offer support, but they too are experiencing the birth of their baby and coping with their new and evolving identities. Birth doulas are women who are trained to provide practical and emotional support to women and their families during labour and birth. Postpartum doulas support and address the needs of mothers and their families at home after the birth. Birth doulas provide continuous support while you are labouring. They routinely arrive when labour begins or whenever additional support is needed. The doula may meet you at home hours before you leave for the hospital or remain at home in the case of a home birth. A doula remains with you continuously throughout labour and stays until a couple of hours after the birth. In the past, women have been cared for and supported by other women during labour and birth and have had someone with them throughout, which we call continuous support. However, in many countries, more women are giving birth in hospital rather than at home. And this has meant continuous support during labour has become the exception rather than the norm. The aim of the Cochrane review was to understand the effect of continuous support on a woman during labour and childbirth and on her baby. The studies have shown that women who receive continuous support are more likely to have spontaneous vaginal birth, slightly shorter labours, less likely to use pain medications, a reduction in caesareans, and more likely to be satisfied with their birth experiences. Those are a lot of benefits, including the reduction of anxiety and overall stress. American hospitals actually employ doulas, as the research has shown their presence actually saves the hospital financially due to all the reasons above. Part of me has always wanted to be a midwife, but I now value my doula role. I don't offer any medical procedures, and this in turn frees me up completely to be wholly present emotionally and practically. I've had extremely good relationships with midwives I've worked with. I'm not out to compete, and I know my presence has greatly supported the midwives as well. The birth doula usually makes a postpartum home visit in the week following the birth as well, and if additional support is wanted or needed, the woman and her family may hire a postpartum doula for the weeks following to help settle in and establish their new rhythms and patterns. So why would you want to consider a postpartum doula? Well, I'm actually trying to do myself out of a job. Don't get me wrong, I love being a postpartum doula and knowing I make a difference in not only a mother's life, but also that of her family. A nurtured mother nurtures her family, and my goal is to empower the mother to find her strengths while I help her out with her day-to-day cleaning, cooking, breastfeeding issues, need to talk, toddlers, finding a village, etc. And only when mothers feel empowered in their own strength will they have the courage and strength to reach out and ask for support. There is so much judgment that mothers feel asking for someone to come into their home when there are dishes, laundry, and toys everywhere. I know, because I've been there. And I've felt the judgment of, well, why did you have so many children? All I wanted was a listening ear, or perhaps a meal, not my children taken away and feeling like I was a complete failure. Prevention of depression is so achievable, but also so underrated. It doesn't make headlines or show up in the stats so much. I have a vision. What if mums felt so empowered because of the help they were receiving, that they didn't feel shame for asking for more help, or because of the help they had received, they felt confident in themselves and their parenting journey. As a birth and a postpartum doula, I'm very keenly aware of my role of prevention regarding mothers' mental health. A well-supported birth does not make the headlines or statistics, nor does a well-supported mum at home postpartum likewise. However, these areas receive no funding. They rely on enormous amounts of time and energy marketing my services and that of others, and even to be recognised and given as an option for those needing practical support when they present to GPs, midwives, or other health professionals could make a difference before the situation potentially gets out of hand. I am not pretending to be a fix-all for all situations, nor to diagnose, but I am quite passionate for there to be another option in the system. I'm not a glorified cleaner or babysitter, and I don't want people to be dependent on my services in the long term. My goal is to nurture parents into their new roles. Just like the baby learns what to do, so must the family. I will work to grow your village, build your confidence, and restore your strength after birth, and you will naturally no longer need my services, and I will be so happy. Here are some of the areas postpartum doulas can cover: breastfeeding support, help with the emotional and physical recovery after birth, a listening ear, light housekeeping so mum does not feel so overwhelmed, running errands, massage, assistance with newborn care such as nappies, bathing, feeding and comforting, meal preparation, baby soothing techniques, sibling care, and referrals to local resources such as parenting classes, paediatricians, lactation support and support groups. At present, the doula industry in New Zealand is unregulated, with no overall governing body apart from the training organisation we've trained with. This presents its challenges, as anyone can call themselves a doula and work in New Zealand. It is so important to be certified to enable doulas as a profession to be recognised and accepted. There are several doula training institutions available: DONA International, which stands for Doulas of North America, Childbirth International and Birthworks, to name a few. I trained with Carolyn Trenter from the Doula Academy of New Zealand under DONA for my birth doula training, and with Julia Jones from Newborn Mothers for my postpartum training. My 3-day birth doula training covered communication skills, physiology of pregnancy, birth and postpartum, being a birth doula, and building your business. We had required reading, attended childbirth education series of classes. I was actually the Parent Centre coordinator for 2 years in New Plymouth, so I heard a lot of classes and I loved each one. We attend at least 3 births and submit a birth record, a labour progress chart, a birth essay, and an evaluation from the mother and midwife for each birth. We also attend a breastfeeding course. I'm a peer support for PPDoula in Taranaki, and we complete a resource list and write an essay on the purpose and value of labour support. I thought I would just like to clarify the Doula Academy scope of practice for doulas. The doula accompanies the woman in labour, provides emotional and physical support, suggests comfort measures, and provides support and suggestions for her partner. Whenever possible, the doula provides pre- and postpartum emotional support, including explanation and discussion of practices and procedures, and assistance in acquiring the knowledge necessary to make informed decisions about her care. The Doula Academy doulas may never knowingly support or participate in a medically unassisted home birth, and we don't replace the midwives in any way. Our limits to practice apply to emotional and physical support only. We don't perform clinical or medical tasks such as taking blood pressure or temperature, fetal heart tone checks, vaginal examinations, or postpartum clinical care. We advocate for the client's wishes as expressed in her birth plan by encouraging her to ask questions of her care provider and to express her preferences and concerns. The doula helps the mother incorporate changes in plans if and when the need arises, and enhances the communication between client and care provider. Clients and doulas must recognise that the advocacy role does not include the doula speaking instead of the client or making decisions for the client. The advocacy role is best described as support, information, and mediation or negotiation. For clients' needs beyond the scope of the doula's training, referrals are made to the appropriate resources. Doulas don't treat, diagnose, or prescribe, but we are in the home more than a half an hour visit, and we can have a finger on the pulse to feel the atmosphere of the home. We build up trust for women to talk and share, which can lead to referrals if needed, or perhaps they just needed to be heard and just needed a willing, non-judgmental person to talk to. Of course, safety always comes first. I can consult and refer to the multidisciplinary team who are taking care of this family if there are concerns. It is not my job alone to ensure safety, but I can support the family to engage with wraparound services. Often people think that doulas only offer a cold cough during birth, only physical help, but a huge amount of support is around supporting people's mental health, psychological well-being, emotional well-being, and generally preventative work, so people don't end up with the only option of medication. Doulas can be seen as the invisible solution becoming visible. How would you go about finding a doula in your area? Well, we have a public Facebook page called Doula NZ, Women Supporting Women and Pregnant People During Pregnancy, Birth, Postpartum and Bereavement. Doula NZ is also a main source of information for parents looking for a doula, the media and health professionals with regard to doulas and birth companions. We also have our own Doulas of Aotearoa Facebook group, which currently has 67 members. This new 2019 closed group is for trainee and qualified doulas of New Zealand, and we use this space to connect and ask each other for support and share information, new research and resources. It is a safe, sisterly and privately run forum to offload, ask for advice and support and connect with other doulas in New Zealand. When referring to the cost of a doula service, the word value always comes to mind, and I have always had positive feedback as being definitely value for money, an investment with a long-lasting positive gain. As a birth and postpartum doula, I am keenly aware of my role in prevention regarding mothers' mental health, and I believe that doulas should be offered by GPs, midwives and other health professionals to families who may be struggling with maternal mental health issues. I believe that we could not only reduce the anxiety and depression that women may experience, but also save the healthcare system money by preventing severe mental health problems, which can often only be treated with medication and admission to hospital. There is no funding for doula services, which means that we can often only be offered to families who can afford us. We, however, are essential, not a luxury. I am not pretending that I can solve mental health issues, but I am passionate about families having an option different to what is presently available. Each doula sets their own payment schedule, which varies depending on experience, demographics they serve, etc., where they live and what they offer. We all have different strengths and offerings, and as such, this is reflected in the fee. For example, Anna Driver, a birth doula in Wellington, is a 3-step Rewind accredited practitioner for traumatic birth recovery. She is passionate about perinatal mental health, and I'm very sure she would appreciate referrals. At present, we are not funded, but rely on marketing, advertising, and word of mouth of the awesome difference we make in family lives every day. We are self-employed and paid by the families we serve. Here is an outline of my personal birth doula offerings in the areas that I cover. 3 to 4 prenatal visits to discuss the birth plan and support. These usually last 1 to 2 hours. Spending time creating trust and building a relationship. We cover fears, anxieties, previous births, and hopes, expectations for the upcoming birth. We also discuss the birth plan, discover how they presently deal with pain, stress, and how we can incorporate personal techniques into their birth plan. Also deepening their knowledge of coping strategies, comfort measures, and positions for birth. I'm on call for birth 24/7 for 38 weeks, although obviously I will attend if needed before then. I don't double book and only ever have one client at a time. I also offer unlimited home support. During labour, I provide continuous labour and birth support, which can include massage, cold compress, encouragement, helpful positions, hydration, Rebozo techniques, partner support, etc. I am available for 1 postpartum visit to check in on mum and baby and offer support, resources, and answer basic breastfeeding questions. For my postpartum support, women don't want someone coming in and taking over after they've had their baby. They need a friend to come alongside who's happy to walk in and take them in their house just as they are. No set agenda other than seeing what needs doing. On a practical level, helping with meals, folding, washing, listening, giving space, helping build a network of support so they can have the confidence, energy, and joy in this, their most precious time. I offer blocks of 3 hours at a time. I work in with the mother as to when she needs the support. I'm happy to be flexible, whether it be once or more times a week, for how long she needs the support. I view birth support and postpartum support as both equally valued pieces of a puzzle. After attending a baby shower, where duplicates of baby items were abounding, I did think to myself, there has to be a better way to support mums to be. A change in the mindset from things to acts of service. Meals in the freezer, offers of cleaning, organising school drop-offs, etc. Or organise a mother's blessing, where a pregnant mum is honoured in beautiful ways. We brush her hair, offer a foot spa, share positive birth stories and create an affirmation board. She is loved, nourished and cared for in this very special time. I would love to see as much emphasis and finances be invested into birth and postpartum services as, say, getting married and photo shoots. And I really think the benefits would be quickly evident. We can be creative about recreating our sense of community. We gained and lost a lot when we all got washing machines. Yes, I know it goes a long way back, but so does the story of disconnect, loneliness and overwhelm. I've always said I'd rather be at the river washing clothes, on a sunny day of course, talking and sharing with others and doing the same with our children playing around us. Does that sound too nostalgic or idyllic even? Well, I put into practice what I preached. And since we can't literally wash in the river, for 2 Mondays I was at Stratford Laundromat from 10 till 12. I wasn't promoting the laundromat in any way, just trying to be creative, and it's a bit different from a cafe. People didn't have to bring washing, just share how life is with them and show support for mums in our community. The free giveaways consisted of compassion, a listening ear and friendship. People came just as they were, sharing, connecting and finding value in who they are. We can spread the idea of vouchers for birth and postpartum doulas, providing practical help in the home rather than more of the biggest and best baby gadgets. And by funding doulas, we are also creating jobs for more women and also nurturing the women and families in New Zealand. Remember, a nurtured mother nurtures her family. Let's not hide. To teach others to reach out, we must first be prepared to learn to reach out from behind our own barriers to those around us, family, neighbours and those we meet on a daily basis. As Mother Teresa said, find your own Calcutta and work there. And as we all know, it's not too hard to find a family who needs support, and we all have something of value to give. It's not rocket science to lend a hand, smile or show a listening ear. Amid the dishes, the laundry and the chaos, there burns hope that we can all make a difference. Thank you for listening today, and I would like to end with a quote from M. Russell Ballard. There is no perfect way to be a good mother. Each situation is unique. Each mother has different challenges, different skills and abilities, and certainly different children. What matters is that a mother loves her children deeply. Let's reach out and offer what we can, and let's lift up doulas and recognise their place in being a very viable solution. There are a lot of mothers in New Zealand who would be very grateful for their support. Thank you very much for having me.
Great, thanks Carol. Beautiful presentation. Nice to hear about just how things can be to just be able to provide that support to parents, other options that are available to them. Now we've got time for some questions. I know we've got a few others online this morning. Anna Driver, who was mentioned in the presentation, you're online as well. Do you want to add any value? I know Carol said she's not talking for all doulas out there. This is just the work that she's doing and the support that she's providing. But I imagine it's probably something quite similar that is being offered around New Zealand.
Kia ora. Kia ora. Hi everybody. Hi Carol. Thank you so much for that. That was an amazing presentation. Yeah, I would only just add that I think in New Zealand, doulas are really still a little bit of an unknown quantity. So really good for Carol to mention that there's actually quite a few of us around the country. and all coming from all different walks of life, supporting parents in different ways, but we're all, the doulas that are working in New Zealand currently, we're all connected, so we do our best to connect with each other and support each other so that we can better support the way that we work with New Zealand families. So I think it's really good to for Carol to have had this opportunity just to let people know that doulas are working in New Zealand. It's still quite a new thing here, I think. So thank you, Carol, and thank you, Pada, for the opportunity to let people know that there are people working with New Zealand families that are really committed to supporting them on their transition into parenthood. And what a roller coaster it is. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Anna. That's always great to have you online as well. And, you know, like I sort of said, these are your own business that you're running, and it's important to be able to let people know that they have this other option of support, to be able to come in and just be that sort of person who can sort of maybe take away some of the drama that can possibly happen around birth.
Absolutely.
I think we all of us are, we're all mums, that we've been there, you know, through the whole birth process, through the whole postpartum journey, and that's what makes it real. It's not just like a business. It's really a heart business. Absolutely. We really do care. We relate, and totally have been there. We've all got our moments in birth, and you know, that moment that we remember. We've all got moments in our homes with our children, and we know what it's like to want that help and yet feel, I don't want anyone to see me like this. And it's, yeah, I don't know what it is, breaking down those barriers, or just building up that trust, and just for people to know that we're not just coming in as professionals that we've come to fix you. We come to walk beside you. We're with you. We know. We have been there ourselves. Well, and that's part of my passion that I just want to get across as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd also add to that, Carol, that I think doulas have been, you know, this is not a new role. Doulas have been around for ever since women have been birthing and pregnant people have been birthing. But historically, it would have been our mums, our aunties, our sisters, neighbours. You know, there's always been a female presence that supports women during birth and in the early postnatal days. But I think in modern society, we've lost that village. So this is not a new thing that we do. It's actually steeped in history. But I think we've just lost that role. And that's why, you know, doulas is a thing, and something that we're all coming to it with love. It's something that we do with our hearts, and something that we miss in kind of modern society, I think. And I think that's a lot of the passion, the why doulas are so passionate, is because we're carrying that forward and knowing that it makes such a difference to new parents to have good support in place.
Absolutely. I've got this theory that no one goes to town on a bad day, and it's so true. If you're having a bad day, you stay at home, you know, because if you go to town, well, everyone's got it together and everyone's walking around and looking good, and then you think everyone's got it to good, and I'm the only one that's like falling apart. No, everyone's at home. The falling apart people just don't come to town that day, and so it's such an unseen side of society, of life, yet so real, so real. And especially when it's looking after babies and children, you know how precious. They need that support so much.
Oh, wonderful, guys. Great conversation there. Has anyone else got other questions, or does anybody want to unmute and contribute to the conversation at all? I think you've covered so much, Carol. And We will share Carol's details in the mail out as well. There's her website if anybody does want to get in further contact with Carol or want to know more about becoming a doula. The information is available there. Carol shared some links with me as well. So there may be other people out there interested in being able just to provide this birth support to the mums and dads.
Can I just say one thing, Trina, as well on that? We have, so as Carol mentioned, we have a doula community that's connected through Facebook. We have a private Facebook group and a public page. And we do have so many inquiries from other women wanting to become doulas, which is really amazing and so promising to know that actually, you know, it's not that it's relatively new in New Zealand, but still there are so many women who are interested in knowing how can I, why did I not know about this? How can I help? How can I become a doula? So it's really good to hear that other women are so passionate about this as well. Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, well, we'll wind up. Thank you, Carol, for your time this morning. You've done an outstanding job, very clear, very thorough. Just great to be able to have this option available for parents to consider as well, and the way you just come in and just work alongside those midwives that are birthing the mums and dads. So great.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. And it's like being invited for a birth. It's just like an honour and a privilege. And I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. Well, thanks everyone. Appreciate your time today, and we look forward to tuning in next week with you.